All right, and can everyone hear me? Okay, great.
Yeah.
And I see people joining this the webinar. And on behalf of the BME department, I welcome all the prospective PhD applicants for joining this workshop. And I believe this will be very informative and hopefully very helpful to your application process. My name is Zhongming Liu. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Biomedical Engineering at the University of Michigan. I'm currently the associate chair for graduate education. And our program is our campus in Ann Arbor, and small college town. It's small on the map, but it's not small in culture. It's a lovely college town, and no matter what you like music, food, sports, and the culture or outdoor activity, and you can always find something here for you and serve you very well. And it's a city has been consistently ranked as one of the best cities in the nation to live and for education. Um, some overview about our department in numbers. We are, as a department, we have 47 faculty members, and we have about 120 affiliated faculties. So this is a really large pool of faculty members who can provide research support to our PhD students. Um, we are one of the larger departments in the College of Engineering and Medical School. In terms of the student body, we have about 500 undergraduate students, about 270 and graduate students, and a major part of it is PhD students. And so far, we have 163 PhD students, and each year we recruit additional 20 plus PhD students. Our program is ranked consistently very high, and maybe one of the latest ranking, we rank number 8 in the nation, and this is the joint strengths from the two colleges that the BME department is affiliated with. So we are the only department at the University of Michigan that is affiliated with two major colleges, the College of Engineering, one of the top 10 engineering in the nation, and the medical school, one of the top 10 medical school systems. And in terms of areas, our area thrusts are very broad. We have 9 parallel research areas. Each one of them has faculty members and doing cutting edge research in that specific area. In terms of research funding, and our program is ranked number 5 in terms of the research expenditure among all the BME departments in the nation. Here's a roster of all our core faculty members, and 47 of them. And just as a glance view, and that one thing to mention is that for those who are applying for our PhD programs, you do not have to, pair or to be only target our core faculty members, and all the affiliated faculty members are eligible to supervise PhD students as well. Our department spans multiple buildings on campus. We have in-house or we have access to state-of-the-art research equipments, imaging equipments, and the facilities across different scales. And the cutting-edge supercomputing resources are available for our faculty members and students. So a lot of us make good use of this state-of-the-art research facilities. One of the unique things I'm personally very proud of this department, that our department is the home of the Culture Translational Research Partnership Program. It's a program that has fostered a number of translational success and entrepreneurs and startup companies, and patents, and for a total of professional funding and over $650 million. One research highlight, which was the invention of a technology histotripsy that was invented in 2009 and by back then a graduate student, a PhD student in this department, and now the full professor, Professor Zhen Xu, who I believe is in this webinar, has invented this technology and stem out the startup companies. And this year, the startup company has announced over 2 billion acquisition of fundraising, and such an amazing accomplishment and such a great example for the success of the technology translation, commercialization, and entrepreneurship. So in terms of the coursework, our PhD, the coursework includes 30 credits before the candidacy and 9 credits after candidacy. So the coursework has covered the breadth of the knowledge relevant to BME, mathematics, life science, computational, experiential, instrumentation, so on and so forth, and some of the domain-specific technical electives tailored to the PhD research directions. The department is great because of the students, and our graduate students, about 200 to 300 of them, they are a central part of this BME community, and they are supportive of one another and enrich our community culture. And one of the things that I personally, are connected very well to and we feel very proud of is our graduate student council, and it's a very vivid group and has a lot of activities. And another key strength of our program is that students in our program has access to currently 9 and perhaps 11 NIH 32 training programs, and the training programs covers almost all the areas and relevant to our directions. That's all I want to cover. And I mentioned the GSC, and there are other student communities and organizations as well. And I'll stop here. And if there's any questions, I'll happy to address them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Xiaomin Liu. That really nice overview of both the BME department and the PhD program. So just before we open it up to questions, I think we'll proceed with an overview of the PhD application process and tips. And then at that stage, we'll take questions broadly, or right after that, we'll take questions broadly. And thank you very much for giving a preview to Dr. Zhenju's work, whom will be taking the stage shortly, and who will introduce herself.
Oh, is it my turn now?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. Hi, everyone. Let me actually just start sharing my slides. Share. Wait, hold on a second. Let me get to the right screen. Okay, can everyone see my slides okay?
Yes, looks
Okay,
great. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so I'm Zhen Xu. I'm a Li Ka-sheng endowed professor of biomedical engineering and also co-chair of the BME graduate admission committee for University of Michigan this year. So here I'm going to talk about our BME PhD application process. And really was a goal to help you prepare the best application you can get for our PhD program. And I want to make sure that this is, I'm going to talk through the process, the key dates and the material, but we will leave plenty of time at the end for you to ask questions. So when you go through, I go through the this presentation, please also think through, what questions you may have that you need guidance on, so that you can prepare and ask at the end of my presentation. So want to try to make sure that we have plenty of interaction time, and we can talk about the application process, but later we have opportunity for you to also engage with other BME faculty here to talk more about the research area. So for my presentation, it's more focused on how we can help you to best prepare a PhD application package to the University of Michigan BME. Okay. So so the PhD application process, this is an overview. We have some timeline. The PhD application deadline is December 1st. And then the master application deadline is January 15th next year. Then following that, once application in, then we'll review the application. Then we'll select students, applicants for a virtual visit. So this is happening in mid-January, where the selected applicants will have an opportunity to meet with our faculty. So you'll have multiple meetings with multiple faculty in mid-January to help us identify the candidates we would like to invite for the in-person visits. And the in-person visits have limited slots, and that will occur in February 19th to 20th. So 19th is a Thursday coming, the 4-day visit on 20th, and then leave on 21st, Saturday. And this is for domestic students. Of course, we understand that the international applicants may not be able to participate in the in-person visits due to visa and other issues. So for international candidates, we'll arrange a second round of virtual visit through the Zoom meeting to meet with the faculty on February 19th to 20th, so that kind of the same in-person visit time to, time frame. The final decision of the everything will be April 15th, but we plan to, after the in-person visit, to send out offers, but you don't have the final decision response from the students. The deadline is April 15th. And the key component to your application, I'm assuming that you have already looked at how to put together a PhD application package. So I'm including the key components, and I'm going to talk through each one of them to give you some tips to help you prepare this component. So the application package to the PhD program or graduate program, I should say, in general, right, include a statement of purpose. So this essay, then another essay, second essay is a personal statement. So typically the statement of purpose is 2 pages long and the personal statement is 1 page long. We require 3 letters of recommendation along with the package. So when, by December 1st, not only we need you to submit your application package, we need your recommendation letters coming from your references also coming in by that time. The application package also includes CV or resume. There are other items like a transcript and TOEFL for international students. There is actually a complete list of the application package online through the RACAM. So the University of Michigan, our undergraduate, our graduate school is called Rackham Graduate School. So the Rackham website that's where you actually apply your graduate application is actually applied through the Rackham. So on the Rackham website, you will be able to see the complete list of everything needed for your application. So statement of purpose is where you include your research experience, your interests, and also the name of the faculty you're interested in working in. So it's more, that's kind of a separation between the statement purpose and a personal statement, which I will talk about later. So when you actually write it, right, it can be, you can easily fall into these traps to be very broad when you talk about statement purpose. So please make sure that, stay focused. I see some of the chat questions I will answer later. So trying to be focused, to talk about, first start with like you want to really use the same purpose to explain why do your interest, right? And also your future plan for your career really motivate you and make you want to apply for a PhD. So why do you want to do a PhD? And explain this with, more from the perspective of your research interest, your career plan, your past research experience. So state your interest in your statement purpose. Explain how those interests relate to your future ambitions, future career plans. And give examples, specific examples that highlight the experience that drove or drives or demonstrates your research interest. And especially if you have relevant past research experience in the labs, please give specific details, examples here. So that's, it's not just kind of broad picture, and do give some specifics. And explain how research at University of Michigan fits with your goals. Again, be specific here. And list specific faculty members and labs that you're interested in, and explain why their research interests you. So those are really, and I'm going to actually talk about each point more, but those are really the key points that you should include in your statement of purpose. So you have, at the time, you're applying to PhD, you have already have past experience or achievements, right? So make sure that you use those to tell your story here. So make sure that you don't just talk about story from broad view, like I'm a motivated person, right? But give details, right? For example, outside my academic courses, I was active in my local biomedical engineering societies and conducted undergraduate research and work part-time, right? So give some specifics. And this is, even this is only just a kind of summary of sentence. Then you want to go even deeper to talk about what did you do? What exactly undergraduate research you did? And, if you work part-time, what did you do? If you have engagement in professional society, what did you do? And I understand that some of you and many of you are already quite all high achievers, right? And you probably have a lot of examples that can be used to demonstrate your kind of research capability, your ambition, right? But you want to try to be picky. Instead of trying to tell a comprehensive story by including all examples, try to tell a convincing story by emphasizing on the best, and give the best examples and emphasizing the highlights of your past experience. and especially give specific examples of your past research experience that's relevant and drive you, to choose your PhD interest. Right, that would be very helpful for us to understand, on the kind of reviewer side to understand why do you want to do your PhD? Why do you pick this research area for your PhD? And why do you think University of Michigan would be a best fit for you? So really give specific examples, but be picky, okay? Pick the best example, highlight the experience. Really, that's a driving factor for you to choose your PhD research. And one of the things we're looking at a PhD, right? I think for a PhD student, any PhD student, the most important thing is self-motivation, right? You're doing this is not because you're told that you should do this, it's because you want to do this. And demonstrate your enthusiasm, your initiative, your passion in your state of purpose. You can use your examples, you can use the past experience to really demonstrate that. So it's instead of just giving example, this is what I did, but does provide evidence and using example to show that this past experience gives you that motivation, gives you that desire, and give you that commitment to do the PhD. Because remember that during the PhD, what we have seen is it's not like you go in, it's going to be successful from beginning to end. Every person, I can say that every PhD student I know, right, including myself, encounter failures during the PhD. And you need to persistent, right? You need to be able to go through this and how, right? So you need that desire, you need that motivation, and you need drive to make you persistent, be persistent to go through and overcome difficulties through the PhD. So those are also the things that would be very helpful to come through so that we understand you more kind of all-rounded, not just as a summation, accumulation of different past experiences. And then you can do that by, relate your past experience to your motivation. Things like the most, exceedingly findings I made in my research was X, right? Looking for opportunities outside of my coursework. I actively sought undergraduate research through the Europe program, the undergraduate research opportunity program. My passion for BME lead me to pursue research in Professor X lab. I work on Y, different things. So those are things that also would be very helpful to be included in the statement of purpose. And the last thing that is really critical, and I think some people miss that, and easily miss that, would be to include the names of the faculty or the labs that you are interested in working with for your PhD program. So list multiple faculty you're excited about. It's very typical we see that, you can include, one or two and sometimes 3 or 4, probably like, up to 4 faculty names specifically in your statement of purpose. And typically those should be the faculty that match with your research passion, right? Your PhD interest and relevant to your past research experience. So why is this important? When you come in to do a PhD, you are doing a PhD with a mentor, and your PhD mentor will be the one who will be responsible to not only mentor you and to fund you, right, support you throughout. So when we have the application come in, the typical process is that you will have a general review. Then the general review will allow us to select good candidates, right? So general good candidates. However, then the next round would be the faculty will come in, and then the faculty will go in and look at the student applicants. And then the individual faculty will come over to the graduate admission committee to let us know who are the student candidates that they are particularly excited about and interested in. And those are the names that will put as a high priority for next round of virtual visits and in-person visits and an admission. And if we don't have individual faculty to express interest in a student, then even a student is really good that may not be receiving enough support and be able to move to the next round. And in order to make sure that individual faculty will see your application, is you actually putting specific names in your application. So that's a way to make sure the faculty you're interested in would be able to pick out your application and read your application. So Stay on Purpose is a perfect place to put in those faculty names. Another thing is that we will actually have in your application, there will also be a place to fill in the faculty interest, and that you should make sure to put names in. And so do research ahead of time. Okay, go to the University of Michigan BME website and check out the research area that you're interested in and check out the faculty names under those research area. And you can contact those faculty directly, right, ahead of the application so that they know you're interested in them. And this will allow you to also to check whether this individual faculty has an opening for PhD student for the cycle, right? And also allow you to, you can engage in even a early meeting. So it's very common for you to request a Zoom meeting, right? Virtual meeting, even before the department virtual visits, so that you can already talk to the professor about your potential interests, whether it could be a good fit, and are there openings and potential PhD projects available that you will be interested in. So be proactive, reach out to the faculty directly, trying to establish the connection. All those will be very beneficial for the faculty later to have more of information so that the faculty can decide whether you will be a good pick for his or her lab and be able to support you and be the champion for your application during the this process. Okay, so the next one would be personal statement. So we talk about statement of purpose more focus on the research and the professional experience. And also I forgot to mention one thing is that if you have done given professional presentations or published papers in the past, those are great things to mention. Well, you will include that in your CV or resume, but definitely great things to mention in your statement of purpose. So personal statement is different from statement of purpose in the sense that instead of focusing on the professional and research experience, personal statement focuses on your life experiences and the background that led you to pursue your research as a BME PhD, right? Why do you pick to pursue a PhD? Again, focus narrative. Don't be just broad strokes. Very specific to, give examples, give specific examples. What are the experience in your life that led you to really want to do research and want to pursue a PhD? Explain, right, like I said, past life experience, a personal experience that really foster your interest in becoming a professional researcher, and also particularly interested in drive your interest in BME. This is also where, it would be good to explain your long-term goals, right? So you want to get a PhD, then what? After PhD, what is your long-term career plan and interest? And, this also is a way to explain why a PhD is important to you, because, PhD can maybe support you, hopefully support you to achieve your long-term goals. Explain why University of Michigan is the right place for you, right? Like you decide to apply to Michigan, there must be research, the things you have heard or that make you think this is the right place for you. If you have background, there's a background as if you are a first-generation college student, for example, have financial difficulty and things like that. So any personal things that, make the person you are right now include in your personal statement. The next thing is letters of recommendations. So this is actually also a very important thing for the application that we are looking at. Strong letters can go a long way in supporting your applications. We would like the letters that from people who really know you well, right? If you have a really big name, right, National Academy of Engineering member, who barely knows you, versus an instructor or a young professor who you worked in the lab for a long time, we definitely go for someone, the junior member, right, like who know you better, know you well, and be able to write informative letter for you. And typically, what we see, and is the probably the best makeup for recommendation letters would be two writers who know you in the research content, right? Like you have conducted research in someone's lab, right? And the one from classroom teaching. So one is your instructor that from a class you have taken from that professor. So can comment on your performance in the class. So those will be that we have seen is a very typical makeup of the recommendation letters, and seem to work well. Knowing that you have a deadline for the recommendation letters as well, please ask the professor sufficiently early. And not only sufficiently early, keeps, sending reminders when the deadline is coming close, because we will not be able to review your application unless all the letters are completed by the deadline. And it is your responsibility to make sure that letters are completed and submitted in time to be part of your application package. So when you ask the professor to write a letter for you, you also carry the responsibility to provide them with information for them to write the best letter for you, right? So help them to help you, help them advocate for you, to do so in a way that mirror your goals. For example, provide the professor, the letter writers, it doesn't have to be a professor, right? Provide letter writers your CV, your goal, what you want to achieve, right? And it says quality over quantity. I would be just specific, so to save your trouble, just go for 3 letters, right? 3 letters, and if you, especially if you know someone who can provide a positive letter for you, that's what you go for, right? 3 positive letters, and that's really what you're going for. Okay, CV, right? CV is again the things we just talk about. We talk about statement purpose, personal statement, and the recommendation letters, and the CV again, very important, right? Like when I look at application, I go to the CV first and glance through the CV first thing. And your CV should list relevant educational experience, work experience, research experience, skills, and very importantly, if you have any author works, right? It can be a conference presentations, either oral presentation or poster, conference abstracts, any papers published before. And if your name is on the co-author list, bold your name, right? Highlight your name, make sure it's seen. And so those are all the important things to include. So here you do want to be comprehensive. So you do want to include all the things you have, not just the best examples as you would do for your statement of purpose, but however, be concise, right? You have limited room, and also, don't write like whole essay in your CV. For each experience, a very, very short paragraph, a couple of sentences trying to summarize what you did. So be comprehensive, but make sure you are concise. If you have some key achievements you want to highlight, please do it. Use fonts or styles, right? You can bold it. You can underline things. You can, make it bigger fonts. So make sure those key achievements will catch the eyes of a reviewer. Don't bury it just in a long list of things, right? Should make it pop up. Organize and prioritize, right? If you have things, your strongest experience, right? Your best publications, you have things you really want to highlight, then make sure you order your CV section so those things will go first, right? Go early, so that it's not buried at, end of the CV. So make sure they appear earlier so that we can, reviewer can see them and be able to catch them easier. Okay, with all that said, I'm trying to leave 20 minutes for questions. We do have one thing I want to mention at the end, which is that we do have a graduate application assistant program. And this program is where we have our current BME PhD students to help assist and provide advice on preparing application material for the PhD candidate. There is a deadline though, so the deadline is Monday, November 15th. So if you want to use this assistance program, you need to provide your information through the web. There's actually a website on our BME website that you can access. There is a Google form that you have to fill in order to get access to this program. And we do ask that this is a program that's designed to help people who doesn't have much help and like really need that, right? There are applicants who may come from a background that they just don't have a lot of people helping out, or don't have people with experience helping out. Could be first generation college students, or just with certain background really needing that help. Those will be the people that we give priority to. So if you already have plenty of help, you're already confident with your application, this may not be the program for you, but we do have this assistant program for applicants in need. So that's the last thing. And with that, I'm going to open it up for questions. And I know there are questions already in the chat. I'm going to try to open up. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go. You can also raise your hands to ask your question, but I'm going to go through the question that's already been asked in the chat. Okay. Master in biomedical engineering is free or not? I believe there is application fee you have to pay. Oh, you mean when do you mean that your tuition will be paid for. So master is not free. So PhD, we have a full funding model where we provide funding to cover PhD's tuition and living expenses. But master program is not. Master is self-paid. With the recommendation lectures, must all the recommenders be professors, lecturers, or people with only PhD qualifications? Not necessarily. So what we have seen is that we sometimes have seen people who students, who, for example, has done internship in a company that feel that the industrial supporter, the reference can provide important information as recommending in terms of recommending the student for the PhD program. Then in that case, that lecture is also okay. But however, remember the PhD program, when you go in is do research. So if you have someone from industry providing that lecture, but the lecture is really commenting on sort of just daily routine things that you do, reflecting your responsible person, but not relevant to research, then that lecture may not carry as much of a weight as a professor who you did research in the lab and really can commenting on those things, your responsibility and all that and your research capability. Okay, I wonder for the PhD application, is there an application fee waiver for attending the session? Sorry, I don't think so. The faculty I have spoken with are not sure if they will be accepting students for the next year at this time. What I just have to keep checking with those professors. I think if the faculty, you do keep checking with those faculty in case they have funding available to them that would come up, so allow them to accept students for the next year. But however, I also think you should check with other professors because it's important for the professors to have opening and funding to accept new students for the next year. Those are the ones who will be able to champion for you during the application process. If we don't have faculty says they are recruiting students and honor you, then you will be kind of placed at the lower priority. Will we get the slides from the session after session? And I will provide the information I can provide that for you. Does the research experience I include in my statement of purpose have to be relevant to BME? It doesn't have to be BME experience, but it would be very helpful if it's relevant for your future PhD research. Of course, if it's irrelevant, it's still important to include because those still stay, the past research experience really help us to understand whether you could be a good researcher for your PhD in the future or not. So if you think it's important experience for you, you should include it. In my CV, should I mention any publication that is being prepared currently but have not been published? Yes, you can. So just place a note there in preparation, right? If you have a date that you anticipate you will be submitted by, that will be even better, put that in. It's acceptable, it's okay to include publication that is being prepared, is related to the research experience that included in your CV. But don't put like 5 papers in there all in preparation because we wouldn't trust it, right? All right. Living expenses and tuition fee. I want to get enrolled for master. I don't have the number. If you're asking for a specific number, please write a separate email, follow-up email later. I don't have the numbers in front of me, so I can't really answer that question right now, but I will be able to get a specific number for master tuition fee this coming year to share with you through email. Can the Camille, sorry, I have so many question in the chat. I'm going to trying to go through the chat. If you have questions, you raise your hands. Please, could you please just put your questions in the chat so that I can go through them? Because it's hard for me to go through the chat with so many and then go back. I apologize, but I'm trying to make sure I go through all the questions in the chat. Thank you. Can ChemE faculty who are also BME affiliate professors be the main advisor for a PhD, BME PhD student? Can they review my application for admission? Yes, absolutely, yes. For the potential advisor section, how detailed should we be when listing the faculty members? You don't have to be detailed. Put a name, right? Put a name in a couple of sentences in, the reason I'm interested in this faculty because this faculty does, for example, tissue engineering research that match with my research interest. I'm being kind of broad there, so you may want to put a little bit more detail there, but really you just need a couple of sentences. Should we just mention names or briefly describe how interests align with their research? Yes, that would be perfect. That's Shima said. After I go through the chat, feel free to raise your hands. Oh, okay. Shima will allow you to. Shima, sorry, I didn't read your message until now. I'm just like making sure we still have all this new 14 new ones. I'm just trying to go through them all.
Sounds good. No worries.
Should we stick to only a single page CV or can we go through? You don't have to be a single page. I think we typically see 2 pages. I think can we go 3 pages? I'm trying to remember the RECAM guidelines this year. I know you don't have to stick to a single page, whether it's 2 or 3 page limit. If anybody, faculty here know that answer right away, please please let me know. Is an application process directly match with PI or something else? So we have 2 options, and thank you for asking that question. One is called direct match, and this is where the student and the faculty have plenty of communication, through virtual visit, through the in-person visit, and through, other communications beyond those formal routes, that they confirm that there's a mutual interest enough such that they can confirm it will be a direct match. So that's totally okay. When you get an admission offer, there would be option to pick whether it's direct match to the PI. There's also option to do rotation, what we call. So rotation is where you have at least 2 or more professors all interested in one that student and want to admit that student, but the student cannot make a decision at the time when the student accepts the offer which lab to go. Then you can pick this rotation offer. So when you go in, you can rotate in a different professor's lab before you make a decision, right? So the first semester of the when you come into a PhD program, there is the rotation offer is covered by the department. So your first semester cost will be covered by the department. And then once you make a decision, and we ask the professor and student to make a decision by October 30th. So you don't have a lot of time. You have like 2 months to do rotation. Then by October 30th, the decision has to be made. Then you go to a lab. So there's a direct match and rotation options. Do the transcripts submitted at the time of submission have to be necessarily official? Yes, we would need official transcript in the application. Historically, what has been the success rate of recruiting students from unconventional background, and do the program offer some prerequisite to cover some gaps? Typically, we want our student to, because it's BME is still part of the engineering program. So we typically require students to either have engineering background or have some quantitative information in the, as a background related, right, in your transcript. We have had students, for example, in my own lab, I have students coming from biology undergraduate that are unrelated to engineering. So he actually took a gap year and did take some basic engineering courses to make his background more relevant. But also another thing is if it's doesn't show in your transcript, it's just your research experience is, have some relevance to cover that gaps. And you have a faculty who are really interested in you and saying, I think that background is sufficient to do PhD in my lab, that's fine too. What should be the font size, spacing, and margin size for the statement of purpose and the personal statement? Are there any word limit? I believe that there is the typical font size is size 11 or 12. The margin, I think you typically use 1 inch, but certain people use 0.5, but please do not use anything smaller than 0.5. That's too small. But you can go for a typical thing. So what we see typically, the statement of purpose typically is 2 pages long, and the personal statement is 1 page long. So that's a typical thing we see. Are we submitting the recommendation letters ourselves, or our professors submit it directly? Your professors should submit you the letters directly because you should waive the right to see those letters yourself. And that's a typical thing to do. It's not typical for you to get a letter from your professor, so you see it yourself, then submit, and that's not typical. Will it be sufficient to have an official English proficiency certificate issued by the so if you are already if you're an international student, I think Rackham will require a TOEFL score. That's my understanding. And if other faculty know different, please speak up. Does having a lower GPA reduce the chance of getting into the BME PhD program, even if one have research experience? The answer is yes. The GPA requirement is typically 3.5 out of 4, right? So if you have a low GPA, there is a precedent that you can still get in, but you should need to have a faculty, a professor, again, who really wanted you to be get into his or her lab and want to make that exception for you, then that person will advocate for you, and we need to actually fill in a form to a petition form for a low GPA exemption. I have done undergraduate degree from India and currently pursuing a master in the US. Do I need to enroll in the English proficiency test oh, no, I think in that case, you're okay because in order to get in the master degree, you have the English proficiency test already. Also, if the manuscript is in preparation, should we mention the potential authors list? Yes, you definitely should mention the author list. Because if it's already in preparation and you confirm will be submitted, the author list should be ready too. If I'm interested in the lab, I have 5 more minutes. I'm trying to go through all. Then we have to, I think, stop at 2 o'clock. If I'm interested in the lab, in the pharmaceutical science and the chemical engineering department, should I mention it in SOP? Well, if you are applying to those departments, you don't have to. You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have. I mean, you can ask, but you don't have to. As an international applicant, if my language score do not meet the requirements before the deadline, can I submit them later? Probably not, because we're going to review them right away, almost right after application. I have graduated this September, but one of my final grades is not announced final project score. Could I submit your current transcript first and then provide the official transcript once all results are available? Just submit your current official transcript. Getting PhD admission should we require master degree? No, you don't require it doesn't require master degree. You can apply with a bachelor degree. Is there any advantage to submitting the application early or any disadvantage to submitting close to deadline? No, we don't review them until after deadline. So as long as you submit before deadline is fine. Is it possible to request a TOEFL waiver if I have worked for over 2 years in a scientific field in an English-speaking country? Possibly. Let me check. I actually don't know the answer to that question. There are a couple of questions regarding TOEFL, so I have to go back and check on if there are wiggle room in the TOEFL test, and I can get back to you. For the letter of recommendation, if we do not have published papers, would it be beneficial for us to get a letter from other departments such as mechanical engineering? What do you mean? It's okay if you don't have published papers. Just make sure whoever write a letter for you know you well and can provide the informational, useful, valuable letter. Is there any possibility for my PhD application to be reviewed first? Well, I think the TOEFL score, again, this is a TOEFL, I will come back to you. I think everything needs to be submitted by the application deadline. Does BME offer rotations? I answered that question earlier. Yes, we do have rotations, but it's only within the first semester. You can start, can I skip the initial rotation and start a rotation in my third year? No. When I describe my research experience in my statement purpose, how detailed should I be? Should I mention the techniques I previously used? Provide as much information as you could. Yeah, if you use some specific techniques and you think it's important to say, for sure. During my application, can I use my official transcript to apply? No, we need official transcript. Is it true that the personal statement is not limited to 500 words for engineering applicants? I saw that was a maximum length listed in RECAM, but thought I saw something about that not being true. BME, we stick to the RECAM. I believe that we stick to the RECAM requirements. How many rotations are students able to do for the first rotation semester? We only provide a rotation for the first semester. You only have 2 months because you have to end by October 30th. And typically people pick 2. So you have to, if you want to do 4 in 2 months, you wouldn't be able to do them well enough to get really, enough information for you to make a decision. So we want our students to have as many conversations you can through the process of virtual visits and in-person visits, and arrange additional meetings. Get as much information as you can before you matriculate. I have all documents, but I have bachelor's degree in hand. I don't want to do you can apply to PhD with bachelor's degree. That's totally fine. You will still be eligible for direct admission. In reference to qualifying exam from program curriculum, does unrelated charge master degree count towards taking exam after a year? You have to make your master degree relevant first. And it does, so for master degree, we require 30 credits. But if you come in with a master already, you just have to fulfill in the requirements, which is, advanced math course, or advanced stats course, advanced life science course, and lab experience. All it will be, okay, so I answered that. I'm from Ghana, and English language is it's your official language. I don't think you have to take TOEFL in that way. While applying, is it important to find a faculty member who is willing to take you before you apply? No, not before you applying, but you should be able to find out, at least you will listing the faculty interest, and hopefully during the review process, we'll find that out for you. If my master GPA is higher than 3.5 and my undergrad GPA is lower than 3.5, can I be considered for admission? Yes, you can. There's still going to be some petition process involved here. I have bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering and hoping to apply for direct PhD in biomedical engineering. That's totally fine. It's engineering. I have a GPA higher than 3.5 during my undergraduate, but slightly lower during my graduate. Is that okay? That would be considered. And you will be still considered. Can a faculty member in another department who does a similar research co-advise your supervise your PhD, that faculty needs to have a BME affiliated appointment. For transfer students, when filling out the education section GPA in the application, should we include both universities separately or just a final institution and a GPA together? Should we, you should mention them both. Can someone, but you can separate a listed GPA. Well, actually, we only ask to do one GPA, then you should do GPA. Whether you list final institution GPA, that I actually don't know for sure. I need to check. My first response is, if you probably just list a final institution, but I'm concerned that final institution have, for example, 1 year, then is that enough? Or maybe you have to have combined. That I have to check. Can someone within the industry be your, sorry, what did I do? I'm actually over the time. Be my recommender? Yes. Those who have, it's a bunch of TOEFL questions, and I need to check on those and get back to you. Is it okay? My past research experience is not directly related to my future research interests. That's fine. Still give you examples and how your past experience motivates your current interest. If I have a master in BME and the mode of teaching was English, I do have an English professor. Okay, a bunch of TOEFL questions. I'm going to have to TOEFL. I have to go check with our RECAM, because I think there's a lot of question on you have this past experience to show your English proficiency. Is TOEFL still required? I'm going to check on this and get back to you. And I'm already 5 minutes over our schedule, so I'm going to stop here, and so we can move on to the next item on the agenda. Chima, sorry, I'm a little bit over.
No, that's perfect. Thank you very much, Professor Zhenju. Thank you so much. And I just posted a link to the RACAM's website on TOEFL exemptions and what qualifies for TOEFL exemptions and so on. So please reference that web link. And thank you very much for answering all the questions. That was remarkable. I didn't even know you would get through it, but somehow you were able to get through all of them. Thank you so much. All right, so now we have the faculty panel. And again, this is an opportunity to ask questions. So we'll have a number of faculty introduce themselves, tell us, what their lab does. And again, we can open it up for questions. So the goal here is, focus your questions on what faculty also like to see in applicants, in the context of this very diverse research portfolio you hear about. So I'll just call on individual faculty members, and then they can feel free to unmute and then introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what your lab does, to give prospective applicants an insight into the broad range of biomedical research taking place here. So can we start with you, Alison, please?
Sure, yes. So my name is Allison Vanderroost. I'm an assistant professor here at Michigan. I've been here for almost 3 years. And my research area is cardiac mechanobiology. So in the mechanobiology, biomechanics sort of sub area, but we do a lot with looking at heart muscle cells, cardiomyocytes, and deriving them from stem cells, looking at them on the microscope, how they are able to generate forces, how those forces influence the environment, cell differentiation, cell signaling, and then doing some computational modeling to link what we can study experimentally with what's happening in the real heart as a result of mutations and drugs that are influencing these same processes, and trying to do that kind of multi-scale comparison with the help of computational models in parallel with our experiments. I don't know if there was anything else specifically.
Oh, no, that's perfect. Just you Great. And then about your lab. Thank you very much, Dr. Vanderroost. Dr. Joyce Wang.
Hi. Hi, thanks, Shima, for the introduction. So, hi, everyone. I'm Joyce Wang, and I joined University of Michigan this year. And our lab picks SIO, which stands for Precision Medicine and Precision Imaging, and the Artificial Intelligence Lab. We're focusing on artificial intelligence empowered healthcare innovations. So the research in our lab have two tracks. One is we're leveraging the advanced machine learning and artificial intelligence algorithms to solve real world healthcare clinical problems, including like automated diagnosis, precision oncology, etc. And another track is we're focusing on advancing machine learning algorithms themselves to address not a specific disease, but the unique challenges in AI and healthcare. So these two directions goes hand in hand, but the ultimate goal for our lab is always to combining AI and healthcare and using AI to improve patient outcomes and improve healthcare delivery.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Dr. Wang. Dr. Miller. So,
do you
yes.
say me?
Yes, please.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm Isabel. I'm a research investigator in Dr. Karen Jensen's lab, also known as the Thrive Lab. And we do engineering education research. And some of our studies are on mental health and wellness in engineering, gender equity in BME careers, accessibility, and mentoring relationships.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Dr. Miller. Dr. Kevin Zhao.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kevin. I'm an assistant professor in the BME department. I've been here since March, so about half a year. So my area of research is in developing computational optical imaging systems. So that is like imaging systems where like the hardware and software work together to create something better than the sum of its parts. We are particularly interested in developing like high throughput 4D imaging systems for studying highly dynamic large-scale biological phenomena.
Fantastic. Dr. Connie Wu.
Hi, everyone. I'm Connie Wu. I'm an assistant professor here. I've been here for almost 3 years now. So our lab focuses on RNA therapeutics, as well as development of ultrasensitive diagnostic tools.
Fantastic. Dr. Scott Lemke, please. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm an assistant professor here at Michigan. Been here since 2017. I'm in the area of neural engineering. So our department has several faculty in that area. And I'd be happy to talk to anybody that's interested in different aspects of neural engineering. But our lab in particular, we focus on clinical neuromodulation or neurostimulation therapies. And in particular, we look at stimulation therapies to treat chronic pain. And we use computational modeling as well as tests in patients to try to learn more about how they work so we can make them better. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So my name is Chima Maduka. I'm also an assistant professor in biomedical engineering. My research focuses on cardiac tissue engineering. So in my lab, we study the progression from heart attacks to heart failure and engineer various biomaterial-based strategies to intervene in the biology underlying the pathogenesis of this process. Of particular interest, we're focused on the metabolism of both immune and stromal cell populations and how metabolism is a driver of chronic inflammation and dysfunction in the context of cardiovascular disease. Yeah, so that's that about our lab. Then next, Dr. Jiaho Li.
Hi, I'm Jiahe Li, assistant professor in the medical school. My lab interested in engineered bacteria for therapy delivery. Nice to meet you.
Awesome, thank you very much. And then Dr. Shenju, please, if you'd like to tell us a little bit more about your lab. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jin Xu. I'm a professor for BME, and also I have a affiliate appointment with neurosurgery, radiology, and applied physics. And my lab, I'm co-inventor of histotripsy and co-founder of Histosonics. Histotripsy is is an ultrasound therapy, non-invasive ultrasound surgery technique. So we use ultrasound delivered from outside the body, focus to the target tissue, generate bubbles and the bubble destroy tissue for non-invasive surgery without incision, without radiation, without chemo. My work has led to the FDA approval of histotripsy for non-invasive treatment of liver tumors. And so far, about 3,000 patients have been treated. There are clinical trials ongoing on histotripsy treatment of renal tumor and pancreatic tumor. And the histosonics, you heard that recently, actually, now the number go up to, there's new investments of $2.5 billion private acquisition. And so the students I'm looking at are because we are using ultrasound, so we're in the imaging section, research area. I'm looking at students in the imaging area, particularly ultrasound, but also because the clinical application I'm looking at in the lab include cancer, brain neurological application, and also immunotherapy related. So I'm looking at students also, in addition to imaging, also in those related areas. So thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Dr. Senju. So we'll open it up now for questions. So feel free to raise your hands, and I'll unmute you to ask questions across research areas, to seek clarifications, especially as it relates to faculty research here at the University of Michigan's BME.
Chima, did you have a chance to talk about just the general areas, maybe repeat kind of the general big areas? Because I think like Scott mentioned too, like we as a faculty not here just to answer question related to our labs. We're here to answer question related to our research area.
That is correct.
The under the BME division.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. So I'll just again go through the broad research strengths and the thematic areas of research here at the University of Michigan's BME. And so there is biomechanics and mechanobiology. And so please, if you have questions regarding that thematic area, faculty are here just to answer broadly regarding these trends. There is biomedical artificial intelligence and computation. There is also engineering education. There is imaging, ultrasonics, and biophotonics. There is immunoengineering. There is micro nanotechnology and molecular engineering. There's neural engineering as well. There is regenerative medicine. And last but not the least, there is systems and synthetic biology. And all of these areas are represented by faculty who have just introduced themselves. So please feel free to ask questions. And all these different strengths focus on various clinical interfaces and clinical problems, including cancers, including cardiovascular disease, immunological disorders, neurological disorders, but also disorders affecting the musculoskeletal systems and more, and great and beyond. So please feel free to ask questions as relates to these broad areas, and we'll do our best to answer as much as we can.
I'll add, feel free to use the chat or to raise your hand. So I'll monitor the chat, and Chima, you can monitor the oral questions.
Yep. Okay, so
hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes,
if you'd like to start by telling us your name before asking a question. Thank you.
Sure, absolutely. So my name is Mahmoud. I'm a research intern at Oak Ridge National Laboratory. So my question is specifically for the faculty members who are working on the experimental side of things, like not computational, but more like, cell culture and, molecular biology. So my question for them would be, what are exactly the skills that, or what are the qualities that you look for in a ideal PhD student? And are there like specific techniques or like, for example, like mammalian cell culture or gene editing, or are there specific techniques that you would ideally like to see in in a good applicant?
That's a really good question. So are there any faculty who, yes, thank you, Alice.
Yeah, I think good question. I guess my lab does a lot with human iPSC cell culture and differentiation, which can be kind of a tricky type of cell to work with. And so, people having experience with mammalian cell culture is great coming in. Not necessarily required, but I think to have to be able to talk well about what you have hands-on experience with. Ideally, if you've worked in a lab setting, like the same lab for a long period, at least a year or more is often what I look for, because I think that can demonstrate experience with kind of working on a project over that extended period of time, which you can have more traction and more kind of exposure to the highs and lows of a research project with that length scale versus just, a summer experience can be great, but you might not have the sort of full perspective on how a research project develops, especially when working with cells that can take time and troubleshooting and that kind of thing. And then I think another thing is good ability to be organized with note keeping and writing, planning out experiments, making very good detailed records of experiments, and then performing the analysis of the results of those experiments, and being able to talk about that well, both in written documents and then in like the interview portions. I think not only sort of the theory of why those experiments were done, but actually like what you learned, what you contributed, what roadblocks you encountered and had to work through, either independently or working with a grad student or postdoc mentor. I think those are really important skills that I'm looking for in the interview process on the experimental side. So not particular skills, but kind of the knowledge of the process of troubleshooting in a wet lab environment.
Awesome, thank you very much. And as other faculty answer other questions, feel free to to address questions as well that have already been talked about. But we'll just keep it going because there are a number of questions on the chat as well. So maybe I'll turn it over to Dr. Zhao to read out one question on the chat, and maybe we just move between person versus question.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good. I think there's like 3 or 4 questions here. So the first question from Keith is, what types of research was being done under the regenerative medicine department?
So I can chime in there real quick, even, and I know Connie is also an expert in that area. But then broadly speaking, with regenerative medicine, so that there's a lot of research taking place with regenerative medicine. Just one of the many examples is one on cardiac regeneration, and so healing of the diseased heart after injury. But there are other thematic areas across orthopedic tissue engineering and orthopedic regeneration and strengths in that area. But also healing diseased tissues in the context of, type 1 diabetes, for instance, as well as various aspects that integrate immunoengineering with cancer biology, where people seek to heal tissues from various cancers. And so what we have here at the University of Michigan's BME is such a broad, array of work, spanning, again, multiple different groups, especially when it comes to regenerative medicine, because it pulls from skill set across different areas, really, including, RNA therapeutics, for instance, including synthetic biology and including immunoengineering to actually drive tissue regeneration. All right.
Maybe we can do one or two more in the chat and then go back to the hands.
Sounds good.
So Caitlin Billings asked for faculty members working in the cardiovascular disease, what background of education and experience are you hoping for in an applicant? Would it be more biologically focused or more engineering background?
So, Alison, do I let you respond to that?
Sure. Yeah, I think for my lab, I mean, I think it probably depends a lot on the particulars of the lab, but for me, because my lab spans a bit of experimental, more bio-focused, and that's a lot of our experiments, the cell culture techniques, things like that. Microscopy is a really useful skill set, but I also have a computational component to my lab, so people coming in with computational skills can really contribute on that front. And my goal is for every student to have at least some mix of both, but not necessarily a 50-50 split in their final sort of efforts. And so, I think for students to have to learn new skills in the computational side, but come in with strong biology skills, or vice versa, like both can have a place and be valuable. And ideally, the skill sets within my lab can kind of complement each other as a student is maybe learning something new. For them, there's another student that they can ask questions to in addition to me, because I think to have that breadth of experience within a grad student group can be helpful for everyone to be able to learn quickly. So that's my perspective, but I know different people might have different perspectives on that kind of thing.
Okay, I think we have let's do one more quick question from the chat and then we can turn it over to the hands, the raised hands. So a question from Uche Okonkwo. I'm really sorry if I butchered your name, but they're asking, are the labs that introduce themselves here the only ones accepting students for the current application? And I can answer that one. For sure not. I mean, I think all of us here, at least most of us are accepting on the call, but we are a huge department, and then we have a lot more affiliate faculty that I'm sure a large fraction of them are accepting. So you should definitely, I encourage you to reach out to them and to those that you're interested in. Okay, Chima, why don't we turn it back to
Fantastic.
raised hands?
Thank you. All right. I'm asking Darlington to unmute. Okay.
Oh, hello. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Chima, Dr. Chima, for the opportunity. So my name is Darlington. I'm from Ghana. And across the thematic areas you mentioned, I realize there's biomechanics. However, in the focus of human biomechanics, I didn't get anyone who is specialized in that. My field stems from biomedical engineering. However, I've done research in gait analysis, motion capture system, and wearable systems, rehabilitation, biomechanics, and AI application in healthcare generally. Which faculty in this case? I've realized there's an affiliate, Dr. Dina Gates, who does some. She's in kinesiology. However, in biomedical engineering, is there any faculty who is specialized in that field who I could reach out to? And also in that regard, if there is no faculty would you advise I apply to a PhD in kinesiology because there's somebody who is doing specific research that I want to do? Thank you.
I think I'll try to take the answer on this one and then encourage anybody to add anything. I think, Darlington, you found Deanna Gates she's amazing, and she's probably one of the best people to talk to about that. So she is an affiliate BME faculty. Like, she just gave a lecture in my class this last week, and I was talking to her, and she has PhD students in BME, mechanical engineering. I don't even remember what other departments. So when it comes to deciding like what department to apply for your PhD, I think you need to decide what kind of area you want to focus more on. So like if you can do research in different areas, but like when it comes to your actual degree, you'll have to take different course requirements, and so you'll have different areas of philosophies that you would cover for different degrees. So like biomedical engineering is really what you want to do. For example, you could apply to the BME PhD program and then look for labs like Deanna Gates and others. I think we have other affiliate faculty in like mechanical engineering that might be doing somewhat similar research. So, but you could always go to like, maybe you like mechanical engineering better. You could go to mechanical engineering and try to work for those affiliate, either core faculty or affiliate faculty as well. Good question. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Scott, for the enlightenment.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Ethan, and I'm in my final year of my undergraduate at Imperial College London. So I have a question regarding of the animal regulations here in States. So, are there any animals that we can't do any experiments on? Like how strict the regulation is? And plus, like for example, like if a lab hasn't done any work on, let's say, monkeys, then is it going to be easier to apply a license to do some work on experiments on monkeys? As in, like, because in UK, the regulations are somehow super strict, and you can't do experiments on certain type of animals, and sometimes it takes like 2 years, even 3 years, to make the lab to be feasible to do work on any other on transition models like pigs, sheep, or dogs and stuff.
I will try to take that question. Because I have done probably any animal you can name. Just in your list, add a few other more. So I would just say that they are all, you can do all those animals in a University of Michigan. It does require, of course, all animal studies are, you have to have approved by the U-M to be able to do the research. And how fast and how slow, if it's a string, that's already they have experience in, can be pretty fast. But if something that's very highly specialized and there are more concerns, it would just take time for people to address concern. But you can, the things that have been used in the animal study that in the research area, I think at University of Michigan, they are all available. So.
Cool. Thank you. And also, like, is animal license in UK translatable to the ones in States? Like, for example, do I have to apply a new one, or?
You have to apply, and it's not you. So remember, you're doing research, but you have a PI. All this, animal protocol is held by the PI. You are not going to you don't, even at UK, you don't hold the animal licensing anyway. So everything has to be approved here, not
Right.
You cannot
Cool.
try, not movable. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shenju. I've just.
Hello.
Yes, we can
Good
hear
morning.
you.
My name is Rakib, and I have completed my biomedical engineering from India, Cluster University. And I have seen in India, there is only two concepts of biomedical engineering. Rather, we have to go for the sales and service in the hospital. Otherwise, we have to go for the research. But there is not any broad concept that we can change something like tissue engineering. My personal interest is in tissue engineering and neuroengineering, but I'm completely confused which branch will be best for me. Rather looking for the future, AI helped in so many things. I'm completely because I have talked my professors. They have done PhD, but they don't know the exact knowledge of the biomedical engineering. I'm really thankful for this platform and University of Michigan. My all of cousins are doing PhD from several universities in Europe. But my concern is I'm completely depressed after doing graduation in biomedical engineering because I don't have the right platform to choose the better. But my personal interest is in tissue engineering. So what would you suggest me? Which branch will be best for me for the future?
Kevin, did you want to address that? It almost sounds like you're muted.
I mean, I can try to help out here because I think, I think nobody can answer that question by yourself because it's not about which area is better. They both have bright future. It's more about what what your interest is in. I mean, when I talk about personal statement purpose, it's really saying that you derive your future goal based on your past experience. And I feel bad, and I'm sorry to hear that you didn't get enough mentoring through your current environment. But this is something that it's I mean, I don't think any of us can say and neuroengineering and tissue engineering one is better than the other, right? It's all kind of a personal choice. So I encourage you to reach out to faculty member you're interested in who are willing to engage you and just discuss. And based on the discussions and collect more information and make an informative decision for yourself. But just to have any of us here to make that call of one discipline versus the other is better. I don't think any of us is, first of all, I don't think there's a right answer to that question. And I also don't think any of us can make that call, so.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Thank you. We'll turn it over to the chat now. So.
Okay. Let's see. So a question from Ashok. How would you view an applicant who has prior research experience in regenerative medicine, but is now seeking to transition into the field of neuroscience or medical imaging? I guess I can answer that because I'm kind of in medical imaging. I would look, if you're looking to pivot, I mean, it's great that you want to pivot into a new area, but I would try to discuss any like research skills that you've developed that might be transferable to these other fields. And I'm not too familiar with regenerative medicine, but in medical imaging, some experience in like image processing or even math courses that you might have taken. I guess I don't know if that's relevant for regenerative medicine, but in any way that you can sort of kind of try to connect it and tell a story about why you want to pivot, I think can go a long way.
Also just add a quick note. I mean, a lot of this will be dependent on the advisor, the mentor that you're interested in working with. But to Kevin's point, you should tell the story as kind of why you have decided to pivot and integrate, what you've done in the past. But to me, and I think a lot of other faculty, I don't usually worry too much about, do you have the skills already that you need to work in our lab? Like, that's kind of, in my opinion, can be short-sighted. It's more like, have you demonstrated success both academically and research and shown the ability to work independently and do good work? And if so, then, and you can tell me kind of why you're interested in this new area, then I wouldn't have much concern. But again, some advisors feel differently, but I wouldn't worry too much about moving into a new field. That's why you're going to school. Like you're going to school to learn new things. So.
Yeah, I agree. So actually, I'm in the imaging area, but my probably the most successful former student, that who is already tenured professor and very successful. He came from tissue engineering background, regenerative medicine background, and came in, knew nothing about imaging or ultrasound. I think the most important quality that I see in the students is one is self-motivation. Is really you have to be driven. And this is what you want to do the research, right? You're interested in, you're passionate about it. This is what you want to do. And second, to have the comprehensive thinking, and because you can always learn new skills, right? So have the capability to learn and the comprehensive thinking and logical thinking to go through things. Those are the major things, and those can come through based on your past research experience. Would it be less about the specific technical skill, but more about how your past experience show that you are capable of doing research.
Okay, we can move on to the next question. This is a question from Ahmed. So, hello, I have recently completed my Bachelor of Science in Biomedical Engineering with my thesis focused on ELISA-based diagnostics. I also have foundational knowledge in bioinformatics and theoretical understanding of medical imaging. Could you please share whether there are opportunities to pursue a Master of Science or PhD programs that align with these areas, especially those involving immunoassays, molecular diagnostics, or computational biology?
I guess I can try to help answer this question because part of my lab does digital forms of immunoassays and diagnostics, but there are also several labs affiliated with BME and across Michigan that also work in the diagnostic space. So I would say there's definitely opportunities here, whether like within the BME department or in affiliate BME faculty labs. I probably can't, there's definitely computational biology as well, but I can't speak to the specifics of those labs.
Okay, we can ask the next question from Yuhen. So, hi, I am currently a research assistant at University of Michigan, and I am working on spatial omics, spatial transcriptomics, spatial epigenetics. I am wondering, would you want to include this in your research field?
So just broadly asking if there are faculty interested in integrating some of these in their work. I was trying to pull up the question, but I couldn't see it. But if that's the question, I just wanted to say, so yes, that's a very relevant skill set, especially in areas pertaining to regenerative medicine, areas pertaining to immunoengineering. There'll definitely be a number of faculty interested in leveraging that bioinformatics skill set. So just like many faculty had previously said, those are things you really want to emphasize in your application packet. Those are things that will make you stand out. Thanks, Kevin.
I was going to say we can transition over to hands, but I don't see any hands raised.
Right.
There were a few earlier.
Yeah, there were a few. I thought I saw in Maria, but looks like, yeah.
If not, we can continue with the chat questions.
Please go ahead with the chat. Yes, thank you.
Okay, so this is a question from Maria. Hi, I wanted to ask if any of the labs mentioned have a translational focus in their projects, like biomaterials, and if so, what types of projects are they currently developing? Also, is it necessary to have an engineering background to be part of one of these labs, or are they open to students who can take bridge courses?
I can chime in. So yes, translational medicine is a focus, a very, very key focus for various labs, in biomedical engineering. And at the very beginning of the of this Zoom session, Professor Zhoming Liu shared various like the Coulter translational research opportunity that just has this huge endowment and presence here in Michigan's biomedical engineering. And that's because of a lot of the techniques, a lot of the findings we make on the bench, we attempt to translate into technologies for the patient's bedside. And who better to exemplify that than the histotripsy technology that Dr. Zhengzhu just pioneered and talked about, and we've been talking about. So translational medicine is really a theme across all areas actually, all areas in biomedical engineering. And so I couldn't just list every single project. Almost every single project has some translational axis to it. As you look into faculty website, you'd see, as they bring up that topic in the context of their research.
I think on the specific like biomaterials topic too, that there are certain faculty that maybe have even a focus on that. So I think Maria Coronel is participating in the next session, I believe, or her lab maybe. And I know she does biomaterial development to be implanted and kind of see how cells and animal sort of response, immune responses to implanted biomaterials. And I think others, including like Alex Petrosky-Daspit, do like injectable nanoparticles to try to have a more translational sort of drug delivery application of those type of biomaterials. So yeah, I think that there are some specific faculty with that biomaterial focus, but I would agree that translational concepts show up in a lot of different places.
Yeah, thank you. I can select a couple hands and then we'll go back to the chat. So I'm asking someone now to unmute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, crystal clear.
Okay, well, thank you. And I am interested in the regenerative medicine area, specifically in engineering biomaterials for nerve repair in like the after peripheral nerve injury or spinal cord injury. And when I'm looking through faculty that are affiliated in the regenerative medicine field, I don't think most of them I've seen are more cardiovascular, or they're more vague with what their biomaterials applications are. Like, as in, like, they say they can apply these materials broadly in many tissue systems. So would you recommend that I just reach out to like faculty that aren't honed in on a specific um like system that they're trying to solve the problem in, or would you recommend that I reach out to someone who's like a biomaterials expert and then also someone else who's like a nerve expert and then maybe like do some sort of co-advising scheme instead?
I think at least to talk to multiple faculty is a good idea at this stage in the process and kind of get a sense of what their interests are. Not all faculty update their website all the, so there might be sort of projects in the lab that are more specific that just haven't been shared publicly or are in development. And I think there are lots of opportunities for collaboration. I have one co-mentored student that's shared between my lab and another lab in the department. So that's definitely a possibility, but I think depends on the particular interest and situation of those faculty involved. So yeah, worth asking about and kind of investigating, but whether that's possible for the specific combination of faculty is hard to know at this stage.
Thank you, Allison. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so yep.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Can you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, better. That's better now. Yep. Yes, we can.
Sorry.
Yeah. We can't hear you anymore.
No worries. Sorry, I was just something popped up. This is just a general question, and it's kind of on the topic that was just brought up with, say, co-mentoring or working with different labs. And I wanted to ask, how do you guys feel about, in general, within biomedical engineering in Michigan, how frequently do you guys see a lot of interdisciplinary work, which by nature is hopefully around, but potentially, how frequent do you cooperate with, say, labs in other schools, whether or not that's liberal arts and sciences within Michigan or other labs in other disciplines within engineering? And, I'm coming from a pretty small program in bioengineering in my background, and while it was very close and very tight-knit, that meant a lot of our labs were kind of singular units in our area and what we studied, and so there was not a lot of communication between professors and students, and I'm just trying to get a feel on how you guys think the environment at Michigan in terms of that type of thing compares to some of the other places maybe you've worked or experienced?
Yeah, I'm going to take that question because well, I have been here for probably longest on this panel, 25 years, and also 80% of my students are co-mentored by
Wow.
faculty from probably another school. Like, for example, I co-mentor my students with neurosurgery. I mean, that's the reason I have joint appointment with neurosurgery, radiology, and applied physics.
Yeah.
I co-mentor students with all different faculty, and a lot of them from medical school. University of Michigan has a very, very strong interdisciplinary culture. So in the BME, the birth of BME and especially as a joint department between so our BME department is a joint department between engineering school, College of Engineering, and medical school. It's designed to bridge the two schools to encourage as much collaboration as possible. So by nature, I think almost all our faculty and collaborate with medical school to a certain extent. And in my lab, we do a lot of collaboration because we're looking at clinical applications. But there's also a lot of collaboration with, like you say, the LSA. Connie here is actually her 50% appointment with the Life Science Institute. So she's our joint faculty here as an example. Tons of collaboration. I think, if you like that environment, just when you talk to the professors, ask questions and ask students, and even ask for joint mentoring. It's viewed positively. I would say by if not all, by most people. So
That's great to hear. Thank you so much.
Of course. So Erica.
Hi, thank you so much for your time. I guess this question kind of builds off the previous one, but I was wondering what about the environment of research and teaching at UMich drew you to establishing your labs here, and then similarly, what qualities you think would make a student a good fit for the culture, both of the program and of like the Ann Arbor community?
That's a big question because I think different lab have different culture. I would encourage you to talk to the faculty, you're interested in, because in general, the advice would be to find the right mentor, not just about the research. It's also about the fit, right? The fit in terms of the mentoring style, whether you like the mentoring style, and also the fit about the lab culture. And different labs have different lab culture. So I feel like I can't answer that for all labs. But I can give you examples, in my lab that we highly encourage not only collaboration across different schools, but collaborate within the within our lab, right? So we have buddy system where the senior student, and the junior student have buddies and they help each other out. We want the student not only work on their own, in my lab, Lisa, not only work on his or her own project, but also collaborate on other people's projects as well. Students who are interested in pursuing potential academic career, my students also go and take their teaching program too, within the university that you can take and get teaching certificate. There's a lot of opportunities, but I think in general, you encourage you to talk to the faculty, because the different faculty have different style. And also I will encourage you when you write your application, not to focus on what that university want, is focus on be you, right? You need to be yourself when you do your PhD and future career. So be yourself and talk about yourself. Then identify the institution and program that is the best fit for you, and not you trying to fit into that program. And that would be my personal advice to you. So, okay.
Excellent. Thank you. So we'll just turn it over to the chat now.
Yeah, we'll do a couple more from the chats. This is a question from Priska. Hi, thanks for the session. For the neuroscience labs, how broad or streamlined do you expect your prospective students' focus to be? For instance, if a lab is focused on neurostimulation for pain and students are interested in BCI in general or neuro-inspired AI design or imaging, would that still be a valid fit?
I'm guessing this one's more for me, but I would say like you need to think about which a faculty is working on. They're probably not likely to change their research area based on what you're interested in. I mean, it's all because it's all tied to what their expertise is and what they have funding for and resources for. But there, I mean, there is times where there's overlap, like some labs like you could do neurostimulation for pain, but maybe there's an AI component, or maybe there is a BCI component. So there could always be a project that overlaps. But I do think if there are particular areas, and I tell students not be too hyper focused on a particular like indication or even a tool. You should just try to pick the areas that you're most interested in working on and kind of spend time in a PhD. You've all done research before, but to do as a PhD student is very different, where you're now doing this day in and day out for 4, 5, 6 years, and you may learn more about what you like and don't like. So pick a good advisor, pick a good general area that you're interested in working on, and focus on that. But often you do, if there's something like if you want to do BCI and like you come to my lab, we don't do a lot of BCI, so it's probably not the best fit. So you're better off reaching out to faculty who are focused in that area, try to find a better fit. But it's always worth talking to faculty to see what as like Jen said too, things could change. Like there may be new goals and new areas, and you should just also, it's very for example, our area in neural engineering is very collaborative, so all the faculty here work together on different projects, so you just never know where there might be a fit. Thanks.
Okay, we can move on to the next question from Sanjana. So I am a recent biomedical engineering graduate, and my undergrad thesis focused mostly on molecular diagnostics and immunology. I am particularly interested in molecular biology, immunology, and computational biology domains. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to catch the PhD deadline. So if I enroll for the MS now, is there any opportunity to work in the lab? I wish to switch to a PhD later on.
Yes, you can. So I have recruited PhD students from the master program. So that's possible. The difference is master program, you have to pay yourself. But during the master, this will give you more kind of freedom to talk to different professors and volunteering different labs and having a bit more time to evaluate which lab you would like to work in and then develop that relationship to allow you to, it's not switch, so you have to still apply to the PhD later, but however, our PhD program require master degree. So if you get a master degree, then later apply to a PhD program and get in, then you don't have to do the master all over again. And that would actually will shorten the time to PhD. No, I shouldn't say shorten, that you whatever you do for your master degree, getting that credits will count towards your PhD. So yes, it is a possible route. And Kevin, I think you missed one question before
Yeah,
that.
I was going to say, since we're running, we're probably going to run over. Why don't we turn it over to the hands, and then how about some of the panelists just directly answer some of the questions in the chat to try to get all, because I don't think we're going to get all of them in 4 minutes.
And also we have to have like breakout rooms so they can ask.
Yeah, in 4 minutes. Yeah, there's other opportunities as well. So Chima, why don't you do the raised hands, and then we'll try to answer some of them in the chat.
Sounds good.
Is that me? Yeah.
Yes, that is.
Hi, thank you for the session. I have like a kind of a long-term question. Is like, how is this program like supporting student in publishing and presenting their own work while they're doing their PhD here?
Well, publication is required for the PhD, so every mentor is super motivated to, doesn't matter which lab you go in, you will find your mentor is very motivated to help mentor you and help you to get a publication out. So that is almost a given.
Yeah, does anybody want to chime in?
Do you want to go through more? There are only
Oh,
minutes
okay.
left. There are other questions.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
My question is, ma'am, that will there any other webinar that could help us to get directly that our questions and queries will be completely solved? Because different universities might have different criterias. Some universities are told that you have masters, when you have master's degree in your hand, then you can get enrolled for the PhD. But some universities have different. So I don't think that this webinar will completely solve our queries. Is there any other alternate that we can easily access to the professors that it will help us to get admit or to get research better?
This will be the only webinar University of Michigan provides for biomedical engineering graduate program. You should check with other university to see if other university have similar webinars. And we are not responsible for your application to other PhD or graduate programs. And as the application process is, deadline is getting closer, we wouldn't be able to have time to host the webinars in time to really help you out. So this is the one we do. So get as much information as you get, but you can always contact individual faculty for more information later.
Awesome. So I wanted to take this opportunity to thank all the faculty who made time out to grace this event and answer questions and be here to represent the different thematic areas. So thank you very much. We appreciate you greatly. So we're just about time to go into the breakout rooms. So this would be a chance to meet with faculty and all their lab members to discuss specific research projects in different labs and just to get more information. So this is yet another opportunity again to answer questions. So please feel free to, and in the breakout sessions, you'd be able to unmute, you'd be able to freely converse. So please take advantage of that.
Yeah, it also encourage, I know we didn't get through all the questions in the chat, but a lot of them are very specific area focused. So if you join a lab or join a breakout room that's specific to the area, you can ask those questions in those breakout rooms.
Yes. So, so I just want to be sure.
Yeah, I just went ahead and opened the breakout rooms, Chima.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. I was
Is there
wondering
a
if,
list
yeah.
of them?
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, let me know if you guys have any issues with them.
Okay, awesome.
Hey, Ryan, can you check if, I think there's a couple that might be missing. Maybe.
Okay, I can add more.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, let me see. Oh, yep, okay. 1 second. Is it just Jen's and William Stacy's?
There's also the Shea Lab, which was a late addition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
So prospective applicants can click and join
And
any lab of their choosing. So
I don't see my lab. Do I have is there?
Yeah, I don't want to bring everyone back in, but I'm trying to look to see if there's a way where I can just create them right now without having to bring everyone back in.
Yeah, and I can join, like there's you have an individual room. I was thinking that if you can have like join area, like by area, that would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's like Kevin had, I mean, I can do imaging, I suppose.
I just want to make sure that I don't take everybody out.
I think it's okay to take everybody out if you have to. That's fine.
Okay.
It will just take a minute. Yeah. Feel free to take everybody out and add those additional ones.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I should just be able to add them right now. I just didn't want to click anything without
Okay.
destroying everything. So yeah, 1 second. I can do this. I just need to name them.
Okay.
Sorry for the delay. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's letting me to add other breakout rooms without bringing everybody else back in.
Yeah. Feel free to bring everybody out. Yeah, bring them back in. That's fine.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Please do that. That way they get to see everything as they move
Mm-hmm.
too.
Yeah, and I think it would be good to set breakout rooms by imaging area, no,
By thematic
research
areas.
areas,
Yeah.
right, rather than by individual lab, because that will allow that will have less number of breakout rooms, and then you have more students
More
in.
students. That's right.
Okay. So how would you like me to do that? So by
Tima,
imaging area.
Can you put in
Yes.
chat the research area?
Yes. Let me.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll do that. Let me just share it with.
Yeah, Ryan, just look for chat for the research areas.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll.
Yeah, if that would make it easier.
Yeah, I think it's harder for you to trying to get all those labs. It's a lot of labs.
Yeah, especially adding the ones, I would have to go in and copy paste everything back in again. So
Yeah.
Right. Let's just
Yeah. So Ryan, I just sent it directly to you.
okay. Yep. I'll go ahead and make those real fast.
Yeah, then you can break. Are you bringing back the people from the breakout rooms?
Yep. Once I get that done, I will do that
And
real fast. Once I get done copy
Okay.
pasting all of these.
So then when you do this, then you'll probably feel free to remove the other ones, the prior ones.
Yep.
Just
of course.
I need to.
Okay. Yep. So they're all made. They're all made. So I'll go ahead and bring everybody back in,
Okay.
and we'll go from there.
Yeah, sounds good.
So it is a 60-second timer to let everybody know in the rooms to come back in.
Okay.
Okay, yep, the new breakout room should be set.
Awesome.
Oh, so
Okay, so
Everyone should be back in.
okay. So
Organizing.
Yeah, we're reorganizing. We're just organizing them by research area
that's right.
instead of individual lab because there were students and faculty left.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
please, yeah, feel free to join thematic areas rather than individual labs. I think the individual labs have been removed. So thematic areas. Yep. Awesome. Great.
Oh, you're still muted, Chima. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So I was going to say, can you actually, is it possible to rename the immunoengineering group to immunoengineering and regenerative medicine? I forget that I was the only one here covering both of those.
It does not look like I can rename it.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you can monitor the regenerative medicine to ask anybody who joins there to just go to immunoengineering, please. I would appreciate that. I'll just join.
Okay, yeah. And also just when are you guys reconvening at all at the end?
Yes, so we're
For which time?
reconvening 3:30. So in
3:30. Okay.
90 minutes. Yes, please. Thank you.
Great.
3:30.
Okay.
Force everybody to come back. Thank you.
All right, yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So, Ryan, did you want to close out the breakout rooms, please? So that
Yep,
everybody comes out. Thank you. You can
I'll
give
do
them
that right
that
now.
60-second countdown.
There we go. Everybody will be in a minute.
Thank you. Awesome.
Yep.
I can see Augustina, Brooke, and then there's already Rebecca. Thank you all for volunteering to attend this session. Thank you. So we're just giving them a few more seconds, and everybody will be moved from the breakout rooms to this general Zoom session. Then we begin that process. Okay, sounds like everybody's out from the breakout rooms. Is that correct, Ryan?
Yep, everyone should be back in.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, so we'll be moving into the final session, which is open Q&A with current BME PhD students. So we'll start off by just going around, and they'll introduce themselves and their labs. You can tell us your name, your lab, and maybe just 1 or 2 sentences on what your research is about, what year you are in the PhD program, and that'll kind of like set the tone for questions. And for prospective PhD applicants, if you have questions, again, feel free to either raise your hands or throw questions in the chat. So we can start with Rebecca, my left, my right.
Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca. I'm a 5th-year PhD student in Lonnie Shea's lab. There's a lot of different areas of research, and we've got like some of them represented here actually. But I personally work on breast cancer research, and I'm using an implantable biomaterial to monitor treatment efficacy for breast cancer. And I'm also using nanoparticles as a novel therapy for breast cancer.
Excellent. Thank you. Brooke?
Hi everyone, my name's Brooke. I'm a 4th-year PhD student in Lonnie Shea's lab. I work on neural stem cell transplants for spinal cord injuries, specifically looking at nanoparticle or microparticle-based strategies to prevent transplant rejection.
Awesome, thank you. Augustina?
Hi, I'm Augustina. I'm a 2nd-year PhD student in Lonnie Shea's lab as well. I'm also an international student from Argentina, and my research is also on breast cancer, and I'm looking at functionalizing nanoparticles for breast cancer treatment, and also developing a continuous monitor to monitor recurrence of cancer.
Awesome, thank you. And Ashley, please.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm a 2nd-year PhD student. I'm an international student from Singapore. The lab I'm in is Bill Stacy's lab. We work on epilepsy. Personally, I'm working on a machine learning algorithm to detect artifacts in EEG data, and also on the effects of brain stimulation on pathological activity.
Fantastic. So I think there's somebody from Scott Lemka's lab who cannot show their video.
I don't know if you're thinking of my video just started working.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, okay. So there is so Gianna, there is you, but there's still I think there's still
Oh,
an
I see
ambassador.
them.
Yes, okay, cool. Yeah, do you want to introduce? Yeah.
Yes, hi. Sorry, I'm Gianna. I'm a third year PhD student in the Opry Lab. I work on deep brain stimulation for movement disorders, and I specifically look at movement initiation neural signals.
Fantastic. Thank you. Let me see. So yes, you can unmute. So sorry, let me see, ask to unmute. Do you see the option now? Yes. So now you can unmute. Yeah. So so just feel free not to unmute, not to mute. I'll yeah, just that's okay.
No, thank you. Yeah, so I'm Adrian Porras. I'm a fifth year PhD student in Scott Lemka's lab, which is in neural engineering.
Do you want to research?
Oh, okay, yeah, just research. We do a computational modeling for spinal cord stimulation for treatment of chronic pain. We also look at dorsal root ganglion stimulation. So in our case, electrical stim to treat chronic pain using computer models, clinical data, preclinical data as well.
Yep. I'm Lewis. I'm also a fifth year in the neuromodulation lab. My research deals primarily with dorsal root ganglion stimulation, which is electrostimulation therapy for pain, and we use computational modeling to test some potential mechanisms through which it alleviates pain.
Hi, my name is Wood. I'm a fourth year PhD student in Dr. Lemka's lab. I run clinical trials and also do patient-specific computational modeling.
Yeah, thank you very much. So
Hi, I'm Sarah. I am a second year in Juding Wang's lab. It's an optical imaging lab, and what I do is I use ultrasound to kind of develop better dosimetry for radiation therapy during cancer treatment.
fantastic. Thank you very much. All right. So we'll go around. Maybe so because no questions have been posted for now, can you all just talk about your experience very quickly applying to the PhD program? You know, what were certain things you looked out for? Certain things you thought worked for you, and you don't have to talk about every single bit of this. Because I also want us to come back to talking about what student life is like in living in Ann Arbor, you know, the student experience, just so that prospective applicants, you know, can get a feel of that. So, Sarah, do you want us to start with you? Oh, sorry, I'll ask you to unmute. Okay.
All right, so I would say one of the most important things when you're applying to the program is to develop a connection with a prospective PI. So what's I would say much more important than things like GPA and other experiences is having someone that you think will be a really good fit because your research is really important here. And so I would, for example, like I ended up in my current lab because my current PI actually used to mentor my former PI that I worked with in undergrad. And I would say that connections like that are common, but I would really encourage you to reach out to PIs if you're interested in their work and see if you could fit into their lab.
Awesome. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, I guess for my own experience, I guess the application process was, I got a lot of help from my undergrad PI just because I did not know how the PhD process worked, or any grad school admission process as a whole. And so the best advice he gave me, I think, was just trying to, when you're writing about your research purpose of statement, talk about your interest, academic interest, right? Because that's important. You want to talk about what you've learned throughout your undergrad, whether if it's research related or some skills that you learned through classes or any of the sort that can show like, look, I want to work in this specific thing. this is what I've learned through my previous experiences in research, undergrad, or coursework. They can help me become a good PhD student, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what I think we're looking for in per se. Like, can you show that you can be, a good PhD student? And there's a lot of different ways you can show that, and not just undergraduate research.
For me, I would just say spend time getting to know the program, and that'll help you to know whether it'll be a right fit for you, but also in your applications to try to reflect on that and verbalize why you're a good fit for the program and what about the institutions like Michigan attracts you for the PhD program.
Awesome. Okay. Gianna.
So I would say that I really appreciated how Michigan's website showed how important, like, showed all of the faculty that worked on different subtopics. And that was very useful for me to seeing how, like, well supported the topic that I was interested is at that university. So Michigan has a very good and a very strong neuroengineering presence with a lot of professors working on very similar things. So I came on as a rotation student, so I knew that I was interested in a couple different labs, and I knew that wherever I landed, I would be happy, because I knew that there was a lot of support there from the university and the department.
Awesome, thanks.
And for me, my application process, I really focused on research areas that I thought that I would like. I really looked into everyone's lab websites and reached out to PIs or graduate students, find opportunities to learn more about how the lab works. And also, also keeping an open mind that there may be labs here that may suit your interests, but you have not heard of them yet. So yeah, that'd be good.
Thank you, Ashley.
For me, I think something that I really took from my application process is to be really transparent with the PIs that you're interviewing with. So as Sarah was saying, like, that relationship is really important, but also, like, the PIs you're talking to, they have no idea if they're like at the top of your list or not. And so if someone is truly like, I want to work with you, you're at like my top 2 people, it is very important to communicate that, because they can also be able to help you if they know that information versus if they have no idea where you're standing. So being really transparent is important.
That's such a great point. Thank you.
Yeah, another point that I think was touched on by a couple of people, but not really stated explicitly. So in addition to talking to the PIs, which is incredibly important, also make sure you're talking to grad students in the lab that you're interested in working in. They really have an idea of what the day-to-day life of a grad student in that lab would look like. So it could be really helpful for determining if it's like a good culture fit for you, as well as realistically, a lot of PI's websites are a little out of date in terms of what exactly the research is. So they also can give you a more up-to-date perspective on like what projects are currently happening.
That's such a great point. Thank you. And Rebecca, thank you.
I don't know if I have a ton to add to what everyone else has said. They've all been really great points. I guess like one little secret piece of advice is in your statements. I think it's helpful to show that you've done a little bit of homework on the school and talk like very specifically about like some aspect of the school that you really like. And just show that like that school is your top choice, even if it's not, because I know that most people will be applying to multiple, and maybe you do have a favorite in your list of schools, but for every single school, say something unique about that school specifically, just to show that you're tailoring your statements, you've done the homework, just like showing that you went the extra mile to, just show that you want to be there.
Yes, that's such a good point. And maybe Rebecca would just pick up from where you stopped. Do you want to comment on student life as a student in Ann Arbor? Um, what are some of the things you like about Ann Arbor? Why did you choose Ann Arbor?
Yeah, I think I chose University of Michigan for the community most of all. I interviewed during COVID, so I was actually in my dorm room for all of my interviews, which thankfully is no longer the case. But the sense of community and the fact that the students in the BME program seem to get along and really like each other really came through strongly, like even through the computer screen with University of Michigan compared to all other schools that I interviewed with. And that just spoke a lot to me about like the community and just the fact that there's like a lot of collaboration and people want to be there and see their friends and interact outside of lab, especially at the time of COVID, but like also for anyone in grad school, having a strong community and having a good support system in the form of like peers and friends outside of your lab is like really, really important. And so that just like shone through with this school compared to other schools that I interviewed with. Um, and that was just like a big priority for me. As far as Ann Arbor, it's really beautiful. There's, the city of Ann Arbor is decently sized with a fun downtown, and like just different areas of the city, but then there's also nature surrounding the city. So I think you get the best of both worlds. And I'm also really sporty and we've got incredible sports. So that's fun as well.
Fantastic. Brooke, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I like to second what Rebecca said about the community here. It's, as Rebecca also mentioned, like it really stood out to me compared to a lot of other schools. Just everyone seemed to like enjoy like hanging out together and like had a really good relationship with people across the department. We have a really strong graduate student council group going here. I think a lot of us on this panel have been involved in GSC at some point, and we hold a lot of different events, which was something that's unique where a lot of other schools will have groups like that, but not necessarily as active or as present, which has been really helpful for finding a community and a support system during the PhD process. And then in terms of Ann Arbor, there's a lot of good restaurants. Frito Potatoes is a good one to try if you're ever in the area. Yeah, also some good bookstores if you enjoy reading.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. No, I really need to unmute you, Rebecca, so that you make this final point too. Yeah.
Oh, about the presidents?
Yes, about
Yeah, so Brooke mentioned the Graduate Student Council, which is sort of our group for social, academic related, as well as just wellness, general wellness, and kind of getting out of the lab related activities. So I think that that's just a wonderful community, and that is where I met like most of my friends here at Michigan. But me and Adrian were presidents, Brooke was then a president, and now Gianna is a current president.
Oh, fantastic. And just to chime in there, for the prospective students, I'll tell you that when we were organizing this, we just reached out and it was just phenomenal. You could see, you could feel the sense of community. And so the student volunteers on this call just are generously giving of their time, and that tells you, just how interested they are in your success, even before joining this community. So you can just project what you would expect when you join in. So thank you again. Augustina, I'll unmute you now.
Yeah, so it's gonna sound like a broken record, but like I feel like for me it was also the community. I did get to do the in-person visits and I felt like the grad students really wanted to be there and really wanted to like recruit the students and like sort of like they wanted to be there because other grad students were there, like they were actually having fun. And so I feel like for me, that was a really big thing when I compared it to other visits for other schools. And it also just generally lined up really well with like my research interests and the PI that was here. And in terms of Ann Arbor, yeah, I agree. There's a lot to do, a lot of different things to be involved in and like activities. We're also pretty close to Detroit. So there's usually also artists that are coming if you're into concerts. And then the last thing I'll say is I was really scared of the cold. Like that was kind of like my one thing that I was like, oh, I don't know about Michigan. It's going to be a little too cold for me. But it's actually not that bad. Once you make it through the first winter and then fall comes again, you're like, oh, this is not cold at all. So if you're worried about that, it's going to be fine.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah, and just to add on, I totally agree that GSC has been a really big part of like the community here. So I think like for example, biomedical engineering, I think we're one of the only departments that we actually have retreats, which is like really cool. We have retreats and we have like tons of activities like throughout the year. Everyone's really nice. You can just go up to anyone within BME and just chat them up, and yeah, it's everyone's really nice. And also for Ann Arbor, living in Ann Arbor, so it's a college town. Everyone is maybe affiliated with the university or not. And if you are looking for things to do outside of the school community, there's also like places like dance studios. There's dance studios, yoga studios, volunteering at animal shelters, therapeutic riding, tons of life and like things that you can do this outside of the school as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to add in that there is airport that is less than 30 minutes away from our school. It's a DTW airport, so you can travel as much as you want.
It's a Delta hub.
There's a Delta hub, and I take Spirit Airlines. I don't know if they're bankrupt now or not, but I take Spirit Airlines to New York City for like $100 round trip. So, you can always travel to conferences, visit friends. The other things we have U of M Blue buses that is free for all students, for anyone actually, and city buses that are also free for students. I also moved here with back then my boyfriend, now my husband. So, and then he has found so many friends too. So like, it's not just the student who found friends. If you're bringing in your +1 with you to Ann Arbor, there's so many activities you can do. We do rock climbing together after work. There's rowing, there's like river, there is kayaking that you can do in the summer. In the winter, what do you do? Snowboarding, skiing. You can travel out to, I don't know, Utah, which Adrian does. So yeah, just saying a few things that you can do in Ann Arbor, and there's a lot more.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so is there anybody who can unmute themselves? I want you to just feel free to unmute yourself. In fact, you can just stay unmuted. You really don't need to mute yourself. Is there somebody who needs me to help unmute them? And you guys can just leave yours in the Scott Lab unmuted, because I want you to answer questions and you guys can just take turns. So there are a couple questions on the chat. Or if anybody still has additional points to add, please feel free.
There is a
Yeah,
question.
Shima, I just allowed everybody to unmute themselves. So if anyone wants a question, go ahead. Sorry, Jen.
Oh, thanks.
No, there's a question in the chat about asking for insight or experience regarding doing a PhD in Michigan with a dependent spouse, child, etc.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone else want to take this too, but I do have, like, I got married here in Ann Arbor to my husband, and he is actually on my health insurance. It is free for him, so, and is much better than what his work would provide. And he's in the U-Mich medicine, and it's free. And if you have a child, I believe it would be free too, but you can double check on that because it's a dependent and it's covered by your grad care. And I would have to say that grad care has one of the best healthcare coverage that I've heard. And I told some people I was in ER recently, I paid $100 instead of $8K. Yeah. And if you have more questions, feel free to like message me or something. I can drop my email too.
If you have a child, it's free too. You can put it on your grad care. And also for people who have family, you can apply for university housing. So that, Northwood, they have a housing for graduate students with a family at low income, lower, kind of very low rate. So your rent will be very low and all your heat, electricity, everything will be covered, and it has great, really great kind of environment for kids, for family. So I think actually, because I know, because I was a PhD student and I had students who had kids when they were doing PhD in my lab. So it's actually quite good.
Yeah. Awesome. No, that's a great question. Okay, and thank you for answering some of the questions on the chat. I see some of them have been answered already. Great. So we're just down to the hour here. We have 1 more minute left. Are there any final thoughts from the student panelists? What's one final thing you want to leave with applicants or prospective applicants? Any final thoughts about the application process, anything, life as a university, as a Michigan student, something fun, whatever comes to mind.
I can answer quickly to one of the question in the chat.
Okay.
What's some things you don't like as much? I would say Ann Arbor is not the cheapest place to live, especially now. But on the flip side, our stipend is pretty good, I guess. It's what, 43K? We just talked about this. So I think most of us, I wouldn't say for most of us, I would say for myself, I think I do pretty okay with the stipend that we have. And actually, if you spend like less, like you can actually save up some money. So compared to what I've heard of from other schools, institutions, the stipend's pretty good here. Yeah.
Awesome. Any other person?
I just typed an answer in the chat to that last question, but it's so important to learn how to like advocate for your science and like answer questions when you're being questioned in the moment. And I think that's hard and like takes a lot of growth and confidence. And that's just something that I think I didn't come into the program with like a lot of confidence and just like a lot of just like ability to stand up for myself in the moment and like advocate for what I thought was right. But honestly, I think a lot of PIs use that as a metric for when they know that students are ready to defend. So kind of keeping that in mind, that even if you're talking to somebody who's like maybe your boss or just higher up than you, there's a way to advocate your own thoughts and what you believe while also being like polite and also taking into consideration like what they're saying. So that was really hard for me and something that I had to learn.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Rebecca, for sharing. I would like to take a minute now to thank everybody. Thank you so much to the student panelists for taking the time out, and thank you very much for attending. Dr. Zhenju, did you want to say something? I saw you.
I just, well, thank all the current students for participating. It's wonderful. I always love to see current graduate students being passionate about our program. So we're doing something right. But for all the students, candidates who are attending this workshop, before you leave, I want to say that apply to our program. Apply it and start a process now, okay? Reach out to our faculty, reach out to our students. And the one thing is that if you don't apply, you don't get in. So you have to at least apply, all right? And thank you, everyone.
All right. You all have a good one. Bye now.
And thank you, Chima. Thank you, Kevin. Bye.
Yeah.